Hi there, my name is Sean Dolan, and today I'm going to be talking about Jane Jacobs' book, The Death and Life of Great American Cities, written by Jane Jacobs in 1961. Jane Jacobs lived at 555 Hudson Street, most of her life in Greenwich Village, New York City, between 11th Street and Perry Street. Starting on Perry Street, walking up towards 11th Street, you can see there are a good amount of storefronts on the street level, which could keep the sidewalks and street busy from time to time, followed by apartments on both sides of the street, over on the west side of Hudson Street and back on the east side of Hudson Street. With the apartment that Jane Jacobs lived in and the surrounding apartments around her, both across the street and on the same side of the block as her, back then there was a good amount of people who knew each other in the same building, in different buildings, and now some people don't even know the neighbor they're living next to on the same floor of their apartment building. As mentioned in the book, Jane Jacobs recalls an incident happening on her block, and when something went down on her block, you had people coming outside, you had people looking out their windows just to see what was going on, to kind of like patrol the street with their own eyes. And now you don't get that anymore. Things go on and people just kind of go on about their lives. Continuing on in Greenwich Village, as you visit other streets like Borough Street or Carmine Street, even Christopher Street, McDougal Street, all these streets all have something in common. And what that thing in common is these street level storefronts. So with the street level storefronts, it keeps the street busy at almost all times, specifically McDougal Street, where it's full of bars right in the NYU campus area. You have a bunch of kids, college kids, as well as adults who go to the bar late at night that stay open till 2, 3, sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning. The White Horse Tavern on Hudson Street was a tavern that stayed open till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And what that did was it kept people there, which kept people's eyes on the street without them even knowing that they were watching the street. And not only did it keep people's eyes on the street, but it kept people there because people love being where people are. Washington Square Park is a park located within Greenwich Village, and the park is always crowded at any time of the year, on any given day, at any time of the day, except when it closes. But there's people in the park doing all sorts of things, whether it's nice out and people are doing homework, or they're tanning or sunbathing, or people are, throwing a football around, throwing a baseball around, skateboarding, people hanging out. Some people are there playing music for money. Some people are there just kind of watching people, which I do sometimes because I'm a big people watcher. And that's one thing that Jane Jacobs talks about in the book specifically, is that when a crowd of people is in one specific spot, it draws more people to that spot. That's why on even some of the nicest days, you can find empty benches in non-populated areas. And even during some of the bad weather days, you can find some pretty populated areas.